All right, welcome back to episode 26 of the Boxed In Podcast. I'm Garrity McCosker.
And I'm Trevor Sembrano.
And we're back in our original location. We're here in San Pedro. We did a little, if you're watching on the YouTube video, you'll see that we did a little bit of a setup differently. But other than that, we're kind of the same. Trevor, you just got back from a fight, right?
Sugarbird tournament out in Ontario. So.
By the way, who's Sugarbird?
I don't know.
Because when was it?
I thought it was
Daniel?
Yeah.
When Daniel was telling me, I was like, what tournament are you guys going to tomorrow at the gym yesterday? And he goes, oh, the Sugar Burt tournament. I was like, you mean the Burt Sugar tournament?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a writer named Burt Sugar?
Yeah, it was
or
Burt.
Bart Sugar? Or
no, I don't.
He was the guy with he had like a fedora.
The fedora.
And a cigar.
The historian.
Yeah.
Boxing historian.
Which is a great job if you can get it.
It's crazy. I can't remember his name.
I think it's Burt Sugar.
He was on forever. Burt Sugar.
But I think he's died. I think he's gone.
So Sugar Burt is kind of. You think that they use
Burt
that?
Sugar. Maybe they do that.
Like some sort of
But they can't use his name because.
No.
But that we're just making up.
Come on, you can't not question that.
So Herbert Randolph Sugar was a boxing writer and sports historian.
And Sugar Burt is spelled like azúcar, sugar.
Azúcar.
And then Burt boxing. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Burt Sugar.
So how did the kids do at the Burt Sugar tournament?
We brought 3 kids, actually 4 kids, and 3 of them to the final, and one of them took a loss today. But he'd actually lost to the fighter that he faced before. It was a good fight.
Did you make any adjustments or
problems? I think that we all tried to make Ivan wasn't there for the SoCal State tournament, and I didn't work his corner for the last fight, so we both worked the corner this time. We kind of talked to him about him closing the distance because there was a height difference. But, you're talking about young men, just like 13. And ultimately having that belief in yourself to be successful, sometimes I feel like that's a big difference between who's going to win and who's not.
Right.
Who has the stronger belief in their skills. So did good, though. He did better this fight than he did his last fight. So.
And then one took home a belt today because there's only two guys in the whole division for that that bracket. And then one more tomorrow.
One more tomorrow. Yeah.
So that kind of evens out, makes
2 more tomorrow.
Who's so Sincere and who's the other guy?
Gallito. You haven't met him.
I don't think I know.
Yeah. So.
Trains in the morning or what?
Trains in the morning. Yeah, trains. They close the blue line to Long Beach. Like the main blue line.
Really?
Yeah.
So where was he coming from? Up higher?
Yeah, he was coming up from higher. So. And so he hasn't been in as much since, but it's supposed to open back up in a couple weeks. So.
Oh, okay. So it was just closed for construction.
Yeah, just closed, not permanently.
Yeah,
so. It's fun though at the fights, just because it's you. God, man. So the one thing,
running all the same faces.
Yeah, you're running the same faces.
Yeah.
It's a big show. It's a lot of people are betting each other. I saw 2 families almost get in a fight tonight over a bet. It's just,
I gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Was it a bad call that threw things out of balance?
It was just there was just 2 families, one Latino family, one black family. They bet down. Anytime you bet too, and then the over you're gonna celebrate. The black family won, so it's gonna have a little bit of celebration,
a little bit of extra.
Yeah, so but I was cracking up laughing. I was only laughing because the guy that lost the bet, who had tats on his face.
Couple numbers, who knows?
Somebody from our gym brought him over.
Brought him over? What do you mean brought him over?
Like it was a friend of his.
Oh.
That was doing the betting.
Hey, what's up, homeboy?
And ended up being like knowing someone. Anyways, it was just funny.
That's funny.
Classic Boston shit. So.
But so today was you were driving over. I was watching, or you're probably still occupied at the tournament. But Chris Arreola fought Adam Kaunaki. He had said it was going to be, if he doesn't win this fight, he's going to retire. I was thinking about, I'm already writing an article in case that happens that I wanted to put on boxingtldr.com. Yeah. I'm going to put it regardless of what happens. He did lose tonight. Yeah. He started to take a step back though, and that kind of seemed like he, in the post fight, he said something about, I think he said something like, I'm going to talk to my wife about it. We're going to say what he wasn't as consistent with what he had said before, but should he retire, there'll be an article coming out of my favorite moments of his career. He's definitely someone who entertained.
Yeah, Chris Elliott came to fight.
And
local
and
too.
he came to fight today. He sure came to fight today. They went at it, man. That was a
Chris
lot
had
of
a great story too. You know how he got back into boxing. He'd quit for a couple of years. I think longer than a couple of years since he was like a kid.
I don't really remember because I remember in his height was about 10 years. His height was about like 10 years ago when he first got his like look against Klitschko, and at about that time.
That's when he fought for the title.
I don't know if there was this before that or
way before this.
Yeah, so that I wasn't even on the scene yet to know.
But anyways, he sees a friend. He's watching a fight with a bunch of friends. He's saying, this dude should do this, you should do that, you should do this, based upon when he used to fight as a kid, a young man. And the friends were like, oh, shut up if you think it's so easy, then you go do it. And he showed up to the gym. So,
I met him in Riverside once. He's
a good guy.
He was just a talkative, very cool dude.
Yeah.
Making jokes with everyone,
the one thing about Chris familiar with everyone. Is that like people have this assumption that they always think that he's kind of fat, but he's kind of you can be like have he fat fit.
He didn't look that fat tonight.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good. He looked pretty trim. He looked like you're supposed to look in the heavyweight division.
Right.
Kaunaki was a little bit fatter than him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
you sure you're saying that last name right?
I'm not sure, but I think it's close.
Yeah.
Everyone was butchering it tonight on TV because I heard 3 different ways
That's some shit if you're a fighter with like one of those immigrant names, like you just know your name's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you should probably accept it, I guess. Accept that European Western hegemony. Isn't that what we're talking about?
Except that's Western Europe, right? No, I guess it's Eastern. Yeah. Poland? Is that Eastern Europe?
No.
I don't know.
Poland's
but there's plenty of Polish that they should figure it out. We should have figured it out by now, how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, though.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, he won. He looked all right.
Doesn't matter because we're probably never going to have to say his name again. That's keeping it real.
Perhaps, but one more time. He'll have one more shot inching closer to a title. Yeah. And that'll be the last time.
Who's he with? He's with Al Heyman too.
I don't know. It was on. He
might
be
on PBC, right?
It was on PBC, but it was in conjunction with Brooklyn Boxing, and I believe Brooklyn Boxing is that the new outfit done by DeBella and family.
Yeah.
So I think he may be DeBella. I'm not sure.
So,
but
yeah,
I don't know.
So yeah, we're pretty much never gonna see him again.
Yeah.
So
that's one
next.
Of your, yeah. It's a harsh statement, but I've heard you say it before.
Yeah, he's not a star. Yeah. Especially in the heavyweight division. Give me a break.
Yeah. This is a moment for the heavyweight division.
But you never know. Andy Ruiz, right? I saw Andy Ruiz's assistant trainer. Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight.
Estrellita? Or
Estrellita.
Is that his handle?
Yeah. Something like that. I saw him tonight at the fights.
That's good. Do they have any amateurs there?
Yeah.
From Legends?
From Legends. Legends Boxing does. Yeah, it's good to see him.
They're a good team.
Hey, he can rap a hell of a hand. I was watching him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Rap looked good. So
you peeking on those trade secrets?
To be honest with you, man, like most people rap hands. I've had some good people help me, learn how to rap hands. Jesse Reed learned from Eddie Futch himself, who obviously taught, Freddie Roach and so forth. And then the guy that rapped the best hand that I've ever seen is Russ Abner, the guy that owns Rival.
Yeah.
Rival Boxing. And then another good Joe Goosen can rap a hand. Ricky Finez can rap a good hand. So
Joe Goosen was with he was the corner for Chris Arreola.
Did he have denim on tonight? Usually walks
he looked fly. He was wearing
always does.
He was wearing it was actually a white jacket, but it was of denim.
He looks like the like older.
He looks like a character
the boxing Robert Redford basically.
Yeah.
But
it was cool because I don't remember who Chris Arreola had been with up to this trainer right now because I kind of forgot.
Henry Ramirez.
In Riverside?
In Riverside.
Right, okay.
He also has to train Josevito Lopez.
Right, okay. So, but it was cool to see him saying next to Goosen. It was cool to see him saying next to Goosen because back in the day, Joe's brother used to be his promoter. Dan Goosen, rest in peace, was promoter. And so it was just interesting seeing him back with the Goosen family and whatnot.
Yeah, they got a rich history. I mean, obviously they supported him. I'm sure he's been in and out of Tengus. He obviously he's from Riverside. He reps Riverside.
Yeah.
So but I mean, the thing about I've worked a corner with Joe Goosen before.
Yeah. Didn't you spend time in that?
I spent some time at Tengus with Joe Goosen, and
because you haven't told me much about that. I've actually been curious. About your time.
Joe Goosen is a staunch Republican.
Well, yeah, I've heard that from you, but so, I haven't heard. What was it like?
The thing about working
under him.
The thing about working with Joe Goosen, I would say, is that like his poise in a corner on fight night, it's just crazy. Like he's really, 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 just really calm and cool, and he knows how to talk to the fighter. He knows how to keep him comfortable. He's been
I saw that tonight against when he was in the corner with Chris. There is no sort of, come on, man, you gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta come at him. You gotta put pressure him.
They bring their emotion.
He was saying something like he was saying more to the effect of like you know what you're doing in here,
right?
You know you have this fight. Like it was a very calm sense, and not that I ever remember the quote exactly what he was saying, but I hear you. I know.
I'm working with Joe one time. I was in New York at Kathy Duva and DeBella show, and we had an opponent, and Joe was involved with the opponent, and it was Jesse Reed, Russ Abner was there. Imagine that. Here's who I'm in the back room with, warming up the fighter. I got Joe Goosen, Jesse Reed at the same time, and Russ Abner. So it's like they've all, Russ Abner's on Lomachenko's team. He's also with Deontay Wilder. He's with Sergio Martinez. Joe Goosen has had Casamayor comes to mind. Diego Corrales, of course. Michael Nunn.
That'll be the one that never forgets.
Yeah, I mean, just Amir Khan and so on and so on and so on. A bunch of world champions too. And but anyways, the commission was given us shit because of the size of the glove that had been signed off by the New York State Athletic Commission. And it's weird because had I just been in this situation by myself, I kind of would have
you would have got manhandled by the
by the
politics.
More or less got punked like a little I basically would have got like punked like a little bitch, I guess.
Well, I guess they told us this is not the answer I'm gonna have to deal with today. We can't use this glove.
He was like, Mal, don't worry about it. And he's like, you know what? Tell the commission then we're not going out and to go fuck themselves. Like more or less. I actually seen them.
What, are they gonna return all the tickets?
Yeah. But we were the main event. But think about these things. Like at least I wasn't, because I was brand new to the rodeo. So like,
was that your first big time show?
It was a big time show for me because it was on TV.
Yeah.
Like everybody could check.
So first time cornering a TV fight.
Yeah, and warming up a fighter with the TV with the cameras on you. It does feel different.
Yeah.
So
I bet.
Yeah. I kept on thinking about that. Like if it feels different for me.
Who was your fighter in that?
At that was Malik Scott.
Yeah,
but I was like, if it feels different for me, shit, it must feel different. Must be
for the fighter.
For the fighter, it's got to be crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So, yeah, but those guys know how to handle the commission.
So, Trevor, we talked a little bit about what's going on at Jackrabbits.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get this on the podcast. And I want you to be brutally honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
We were sparring together, you and I,
mm-hmm.
which actually I think we should put some content on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just because people might want to see, here's these guys who always talk about boxing, here's them actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think I gotta do next? Where do I go from
I was
here?
thinking about this. Actually, sounds crazy, but like I think either in the shower or when I get out of the shower. Which I think that for the most part, most of your good. Because I'm thinking about all my fight. I'm thinking about all my. But how's that feel good?
So it was either in the shower.
If
before
you're not
the
thinking
shower,
about, I don't feel like.
Or when I was getting ready for the shower, I don't know.
I tend to think about the future in the shower more so.
Damn, you're in his future.
Yeah, you're in my future. But I was thinking, okay, so what do we do?
There's always a certain way you phrase things, and that's not the way.
But I was like, we got Garrity. We can have him move around a lot in the next 90 days. I think you're developing.
Yeah.
I honestly was surprised to see how easily you took some of the things. I also was a little pissed off that my shit didn't work against you.
I was really happy. I was like, damn, like.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. It's like, afterwards, you said to me, hey, you notice I wasn't doing this shit? I was like, well, the reason why you weren't doing this shit was because you taught this shit to me, and I was able to figure it out once you approached it.
And you can sniff a setup now too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think I was thinking to myself, like, Garrity probably should be up in the next 90 to 120 days. So, as a return fight I say 144, something like a catch weight. It doesn't really matter. Somewhere you're not going to kill yourself, but you're going to go in. You feel really, really strong.
Right.
And we'll probably take a fight. And I honestly think in the beginning we just maybe take a fight in Tijuana, just because it's been a while since you've been on for a layoff. Yeah. So.
Maybe a quick Ensenada trip right after.
I'm gonna find someone that's and
just a little warm up.
342. No, just kidding. But
yeah, as long as I bring a pair of shoes, right?
Yeah, we'll get you.
No, we'll figure it out.
I
want to get back in there. Yeah. But I appreciate the work. It's been good to. I've never had a coach where we worked pads and we worked drills, but also I spar with, so it's kind of a different element. And it's also
it's good to see
learning all this shit you're teaching me with putting the hands around someone's neck to kind of manipulate and move them for the next position, which is good stuff. But it's harder to do against a fat fuck like you when you're 170 pounds.
I wish I was 170.
But lean, right? How much you now?
I don't know. I think I'm a cruiserweight, maybe 215. I
think we should do if we're getting ready in the next 90 days.
An accountability.
Yeah, if we're getting ready in the next 90 days for me.
I've been swimming a lot.
Whatever is. You and I think we need to do a bet.
A little bit beefier.
I think we need to do a bet.
I need to lose as many as you do?
Whoever loses the most wins the bet.
No, you don't want to put me in competition mode. I'm taking you out.
Well, I think that's what we both need. You know what I mean?
I'm going to need some cocaine.
All right, so.
I'm just kidding.
So
some methamphetamine or
when do you want to do the weigh-in?
What are the kids using to lose weight these days?
Adderall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's basically meth.
It's basically meth. Yeah.
I used to have a prescription. I used to,
It seems like you're on some Adderall. We
both
have these coffees, which is sort
of this is gonna be cut out with the shawless sugar. It'll be black coffee only, which is all I have during the morning and day. But
at night time,
it's kind of a hot night here in San Pedro, and you wanted to bring coffee. I said bring a nice coffee, but. When's weigh-in? I think we need to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we should keep the audience involved too.
I wanna like put quarters in my pocket and shit. Lead socks.
Just name the date and we'll do it.
Or probably you making weight, I'd imagine. So
what
next podcast?
So next podcast we will weigh in our fat weights.
Yeah, we can just tape it on a.
We'll write it down.
Yeah,
and then in X amount of days, we'll have to pick a date from then. Whoever loses the most wins.
Is Vada involved in this?
No.
USANA?
No.
USANA is it's USADA. Is that
yeah, that's the real one. Vada is the voluntary one.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hearn's promoted me now, so we don't have to do either one of those.
We're gonna get a green light. They'll tell me about
I saw
not
that.
passing.
Do you remember when we went to that event? We went to that event, the Lomachenko workout day.
Yeah.
And since it was against
Eddie Hearn has the perfect tan. Does nobody want to bring that up?
For a British guy, I know, right?
Yeah. He looks like an aristocrat.
It's
like dirty rotten scoundrel.
It's like
effortless,
eternal vacations in Ibiza to get that tan because.
Have you British, been to Ibiza? It seems like no. Why?
Why would I have been to Ibiza?
You have a mullet.
That especially would not play into why
it qualifies you. Right. I would think there's probably more mullets per capita in Ibiza, which I thought was Ibiza.
No, probably more in Panama City Beach than.
Have you been to Panama City Beach?
No, I was never cool. I never went. I never went on a spring break trip.
Tampa sort of like Panama.
Tampa's is another place that's. Interesting. I don't know where everything is in relation to each other. I think Panama City Beach is more in the flat part. I think Tampa's more on the.
Is that the Panhandle?
I think PCB's more the Panhandle.
See any gators?
No, I didn't. Okay, so for this bet.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to do a stunt or a?
What kind of stunt? Like jump from the
like something we have to do at Jackrabbits in front of everybody or. Some form of humiliation, some form of...
Jackrabbits, you don't want to get them involved because they're going to like come up with something. It's going to be a lot of pressure.
That should be what it is.
That's what it's going to be.
Jackrabbits should decide. You should ask around the gym.
Oh, yeah.
What would be something embarrassing?
Have them vote in.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, the audience can get involved too. So
yeah,
if the audience wants to suggest... So here's the facts. Yeah. You and I, we are doing a weight challenge. Mm-hmm. Because I need to get back in the ring and I'm a little bit fat. And when we're sparring, it's starting to get dangerous because you're like cruiserweight and I'm like approaching like junior middleweight or with junior welter. Yeah.
You're not approaching junior welter. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm probably there right now, 154.
That would be middleweight.
154 would be junior middleweight.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We both need to lose some weight. We're making a bet.
Super welterweight.
On the date of the next podcast, we're doing weigh-in for the starting point, and then we are having a 60 days from that. 60 days from the initial weigh-in.
Like that WBC check-in.
60 days from the initial weigh-in, which is next podcast episode. 60 days, we're doing the following weigh-in, and whoever loses the most weight wins the bet. The wager has yet to be decided.
Right.
We're going to take a poll of kids at the Jackrabbits.
God. How about a shaved head? That's easy.
That's not even that cool. I want to do something wild.
Your hair isn't as valuable as Garrity's mullet is.
Right. I don't want to destroy the band.
I'm going to have to do a skullet.
The skullet.
No, he could. No, it's a good wager, but that's not a fair. Your hair going bald. You're going bald.
No, it should be something. But I want to see if anyone listening wants to offer ideas because you never know what we come across. But
just get tatted on the face.
Yeah. Talk to your friend from.
Ask the kids at the gym. You're gonna just get the most profane shit. Just like.
Oh man. So that'll be
Are you want a PG or you want me to really come up with something? That's what's gonna come out of the kids from the gym.
Do you want to what?
You do both.
They're not gonna give you like both. They give you like a PG version versus like the
Get them both. You get both.
So you should hear how they talk to each other. I heard this week, and it's so politically incorrect, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
They're one of grade here or high school.
This was a conversation between.
Put it into context.
They were all just talking shit on each other.
Yeah.
And I was there, and this is a conversation between 13-year-olds.
Oh, I think I know what this is.
The one of them said to each other, "You have nipples like a transsexual." Oh, come on. It's funny.
Oh, I thought there was a follow-up, right?
They're like...
Wasn't there a follow-up?
No, it's like they're saying like they're little kids, but they're talking bad about each other.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny. Daniel thinks it's funny.
Nickname Chris Areola's...
I'm laughing actually that you think it's funny.
You don't think that's funny?
No, but not in like I'm an offended way.
You millennials.
No, but in a way where
I thought there was a bigger punchline coming.
I just can't comprehend like the funny in it.
There, I was thinking about this too.
Like? That's what
another.
It also depends on transition M to F or F to M. Like which one are we talking about?
Why would your nipples?
There was so you talking about the politically incorrect.
Depends on which direction you're trying to go. I don't know.
You know how like unpolitically correct the gym is, like.
It's a boxing gym and it's filled with high school kids. What do you expect?
One of the other kids that said to one of the kids that like you eat dog.
This is what I was waiting for.
Because he's Cambodian descent.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
that was a comeback to something, right?
Right. That was
at least my people don't eat dog.
Right.
I don't think it's just gyms.
That's being in high school.
I think it's most clubs. Because going to the gym is like a club, really.
Yeah. This generation though, like the politically correct generation, the safe space generation.
Yeah, but see, I feel like those people still in their own little club.
Yeah, of course.
They're just hypocrites.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody's a little racist. Yeah. Everybody's a little xenophobic. Everybody's a little everything.
I had like a really bizarre thought that is way off topic that we're not going to talk about, but sort of about
write it down.
Safe space.
Write it down and rehearse it in the shower before we.
I'll rehearse it for a little bit in the shower. Anyways.
So. I just wanted to finish and say, but the thing is about the people that are like, I feel like
Daniel said, I want to drag everyone out of their safe space and beat them up.
No, I feel like
fuck your safe space.
Like most people are nice people. And
yeah.
But see, here's the
thing. He's been such a changed guy since his Europe trip.
I know he's sophisticated.
like, there's no way that quote is coming out before he went to the Vatican. Like I just think, I think that all people are just.
It's a fish. It's a cube of fish.
No,
everybody. What was the fish?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fish cubes.
But it was swordfish. Swordfish cubes. You never had swordfish cubes? You stupid idiot! It's a fish in a sword cube. It's a cube of fish. Ha! Idiot! You didn't know what they were.
I meant to do that to someone, but we haven't had a chance. Yeah.
What a prick Italian.
You gotta also imagine that Americans, because they've traveled everywhere, and my first trip to Costa Rica was like in
God, you just switched from that
like 1999 or 2000. But listen, there was like
I went on a surfing trip
to
Costa Rica.
There was no Americans there in like 99.
Yeah.
99 or 2000, right? And then by like 2006, 2007, 2008, or even recently, right? The whole place is like, it's totally Western. It's totally American now.
Yeah,
so
but you were there. You were there before it got cool.
Yeah. I'm saying maybe the Europeans.
You're the original,
original
hipster traveler. You made their.
Hipster.
You discovered the surf spot in Costa Rica. Now everyone goes.
Third world voyeur.
Yeah.
No,
well,
I'm
saying, probably blogged about it. Now everyone knows.
I'm saying right. Maybe he goes at Americans. Because like all the Americans before Daniel went over there and just completely fucked it up. Like
maybe
he's got just a complete.
Well, we know it wasn't Daniel's fault. It was either that Italian waiter's fault or the prior Americans that did something bad.
It was your progeny that did it. Your ancestors.
I don't even know what that word means.
I don't know.
You guys know what progeny word?
Prodigy or
Progeny.
Progeny.
You want to look it up?
I can.
Yeah,
you can.
Google it. I've never heard of that.
You guys know what that is?
But I'll let you off the hook because I've heard you use words incorrectly or words that you maybe don't know.
God. You're so wrong. I never use words incorrectly.
And I just let it slide.
You're gonna.
Progeny.
What's progeny mean?
Progeny. A descendant or the descendants of a person. No, but you were talking about his ancestors, not his progeny, because his progeny don't exist yet. He don't have no kids.
When you he doesn't have any progeny because why?
He don't have any kids.
No, he's because of his progeny.
No, his progeny.
You're saying it can only be of his. It's of his.
No,
ancestors.
his ancestors is what you mean. His progeny have yet to come. His progeny are a descendant.
What is the definition of progeny?
A descendant or the descendants of a person. So or an offspring. So your progeny will be your offspring, which you've yet to have. So it's all right. It's the reverse.
So Garrity just called you on your shit.
I don't think
yourself right in less than like fucking 2 minutes.
Progeny. I'm looking at the progeny. You might be right.
No, I might be, but I am. It's Google.
Oh God.
So
it is.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do my next band. We're gonna call ourselves Progeny, because my favorite band is the Descendants, and we're gonna be an homage to this Descendants, because it's Progeny, a new word I learned today, means the descendant or descendant.
That was the universe that gave you that word.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Speaking of the universe, did you watch? What's her name?
That's
Democratic. Democratic.
Speaking of the universe, did you watch? What's her name? Not yet.
Democratic nominee. Is it Marion?
I haven't watched any of this stuff, to be honest with you, man.
But she talks about some like weird.
What's her name? Marion
Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she talks about like the universe and the cosmos. But she also talked about reparations. She did a really good job. Kind of crazy that a white woman is.
Yeah, I don't know about her. Cool. All right, so tell me about Marion Williamson.
We can't play video online?
I mean, we can, but it's on AOL.com.
You have to send it to him.
Isn't that crazy? I searched Marianne Williamson, and the first article is from the New York Times, and the second article is from AOL.com.
Well, maybe this is.
I haven't heard of that in ages.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, she had a bit, but no, she had someone asked her about reparations. It's not somebody. It was who's the really like popular CNN news anchor, black, gay, Don Lemon.
He's gay?
Oh man. On that note,
I thought I knew.
Is Anderson Cooper gay too?
Anderson Cooper's gay. I knew that.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive about that.
It's like
I didn't know much about
LaGuardia with him.
What?
I said you were at LaGuardia with him.
I don't know what the reference to that is, but is that a?
You know where LaGuardia is?
It's an airport.
Yeah, man. That's where he was on his way and landed. Scully landed the plane on the Hudson on his way to LGA.
Scully landed. That they made a movie about that. You're saying that
if that doesn't get you,
but you're saying
women.
But you're saying that Anderson Cooper was on that flight?
No, never mind.
Then why the hell did you bring it up?
No, never mind.
Because you just switched You pivot like fucking crazy to.
Never mind.
I don't know how you got from.
You didn't. I was saying Anderson Cooper, and then I said, "How could you tell you met him at LaGuardia?" I didn't think.
And then
it
why
was
did you fucking go? Oh yeah, Scully. Because what you did was
because you didn't know what LGA was at first. I was kind of
no. I did.
Wow.
But you
okay. Let's just keep going. Next point. Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson.
Reparations.
I don't know anything about her. Tell me about her.
I think that she just she's really articulate, and she's probably not going to be president of the United States of America. But it's fun to watch her shake some shit up, I guess.
She's basically.
What does she shake?
When they talked about reparations, she said that $200 to $500 billion. She said some things that I think that definitely black folks are going to be happy about, and some other people probably should open up their ears or their minds or their hearts and look at. Talking about just the difference in wealth and households and so forth of people of color, particularly, not specifically African Americans. So I mean, but she's not going to be president, so it's just not going to happen. I think that it's a catch-22.
Have you had a conversation about her with any black folks?
No. And the truth is, but actually, Ivan sent me the link.
So you kind of have.
Yeah, kind of have. He's the one. Ivan
brought it to your attention. Okay.
Yeah. So you also have to be aware. Sorry to interject, but a little bit more about her. She's like a hippie.
Very earthy. Yeah. She keeps it real though.
Very like yoga and Zen.
Yeah.
And so when she says these things.
Yeah.
Like you,
but that didn't have that. That didn't.
No. She has her serious moments too.
That namaste.
I'm not.
Sediment to it. She's very like.
She has balls because she's her. Like that's the best part of her. She has both sides.
It was almost chastising. Like maybe perhaps we should.
Do you feel? Man, this could be
a case.
This
a
could be
case
a
of
can of worms right here.
Listen, this is what I was saying.
Do you agree with her?
Do I agree with reparations? Yeah, I think that there probably should be entertained, or that we should look at that.
Why do you feel this way?
Just because statistics would affirm that there's a big gap.
Who's entitled to the reparations?
That's where it's complicated. I mean, even like from a genealogy,
it'd be hard to figure out
genealogy perspective.
You'd
want to go back to see, but I mean, it can't. It specifically if you have family members that you could, that were slaves, which is probably the disproportionate amount of African Americans in the United States of America. Then I mean that's probably.
Is that the only group that's going to be eligible?
I think if you just immigrated here from Nigeria, you shouldn't be eligible.
But there's no other.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
Oh God. Don't. Someone else talked to me about this.
What if half your family?
Somebody goes, well, because there was a reparations for that we're talking about for gay people.
Oh, I'm not talking about. I'm just genuinely asking.
I mean, no.
Where was that?
No, I'm talking about like other ethnic groups like the Native Americans.
I mean, in some degree, the Native Americans do get the reparations though.
Well, I'm asking you. That's why.
No, but I'm telling you,
eligible for this.
I'm telling you, living on.
Like the Chinese, should they be eligible?
No, the Chinese.
The railroads.
The Chinese didn't have centuries of oppression. Very short-lived.
Does that disregard?
Yes, it disregards it. Yes, I'm not nothing to say bad, but and another thing too that I think Americans should look at when you look at the success of the United States of America. That's never to forget that what got us here was a very long period of free labor, period. If you're wondering why America is the world superpower, it's because, you had over 100 years of free labor. And that's definitely going to expedite the process.
Sure.
So you can't.
Is it only from Africa? Like, is it Cubans? If you get some Cubans.
Cubans. Let's not forget it continues today with cheap labor. We have
but these people
farm
are
pickers,
descendants of the transatlantic slave trade.
That's what I'm asking.
Which is to say that the United States is in charge of Cuba or the DR.
Well, I'm saying you'd have to put heavy restrictions, right?
You're saying if you're Dominican,
if you're doing reparations, you have to really figure out who's entitled.
He wants to know if
you're the United States government.
If you immigrated here from the DR,
no, hold on. I'm saying
Cuba, no.
If you're a part of the United States government and you're like, okay, we're gonna have to do this, you're gonna save as much money as possible by ensuring that the money you're dispersing is going to exactly who qualifies, because you don't want to just make it broad and say whatever. You're gonna. So like, what would be this criteria? That's what I'm asking.
I think.
And who decides that?
The cool thing about it is that there's a lot of much smarter, brighter people in positions of power that will know how to facilitate this, and I'm certainly not one of them. Anything that can come out of my mouth is an opinion. Specifically, when it comes to enacting some sort of like
there we go
legislate laws or legislation or legislative sort of thing that goes towards this. I don't know how to do it, so I wouldn't know how to walk with it. So
neither do I.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, it's kept. Ta-Nehisi Coates, you know Ta-Nehisi Coates?
Yeah, but wait, hold on.
He's the one who started the case for reparations. Is something that he wrote in the Atlantic. He's definitely, to me, the seed of consciousness. He was up on the Hill discussing it with the other student from Columbia that I can't remember his name. We could probably Google that right now. But yeah, I mean.
But isn't that an issue? Don't you? If you're gonna issue reparations, you're gonna want to do it just once, right? You don't want to.
So who else am I? Where's the issue? What issue? What are we talking about?
No, but like I think what Dan was saying, like it would be difficult to make the cutoff somewhere because
we make a lot of difficult decisions every day. So what?
Oh yeah, no doubt this is gonna be difficult. But
I'm not. We shouldn't stop.
You for instance, you said if you immigrated here from Nigeria, I don't think that qualifies.
No, I don't think they qualify.
So what about this though? There are families where maybe Black American families today, where maybe one side of their family tree is a lineage from, from centuries of Black Americans, and that traces back to the slave trade. Mm-hmm. But then maybe the other side of their family could have been from a recent immigrant family.
So yeah, that qualifies. You're gonna have that a lot. It still qualifies you for reparations. You have a descendant that was part of the slave trade. Because of what I'm going to, of course.
And then how much do you determine?
But it's hard to
listen.
Draw.
When she says 200 billion or 500 billion, I think that that number shouldn't be surprising for anybody.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, how do you come to that number?
No. How do
you determine?
Here's another thing. I'm not in that position I'm not creating public policy. Oftentimes it's like, if we were to look up some crazy statistic right now, even when we're doing these stimulus bills, sometimes it'll work out with, do you know what the stimulus bill for the nation as a whole is? We'd give every American, like it's typically like a wild number, like every American would get $25,000 or $30,000, but instead this is going just towards this huge, large stimulus bill. Nobody comes up with these questions at that point when it's people of color. Like nobody sifts through how the money's being spent. If it's a military industrial complex, it's the prison industrial complex. But like you talk about reparations, you talk about wealth inequality in society, and all of a sudden everybody's like, I want an itemized checklist. But we don't talk about the toilet paper that costs $75. It's being sold to Blackwater and Halliburton. Not to say that this is an excuse for us to have more of a bureaucratic mess. But it's typical shit that I'll run across with liberals, and obviously those on the right. It's like, okay, well, here's the time, because it's people of color, that we're gonna have a real thorough, tedious talk, and we're gonna talk about the X, Y's, and Z's. Nobody else.
So I get what you're saying.
Nobody else hits me up like that about any other bill.
The conclusion being that you and I and us three actually. Mm-hmm. We're not equipped to answer these questions.
No.
But what you're saying, I believe, is
like Americans
you're disappointed. This shit back you're disappointed that typically, not just Daniel right now, but typically the conversation.
Keep it real. When's the last time you asked about how money was being spent on any sort of policy that was coming up?
Well, when the issue comes up all the time.
Okay, so give me an example.
I know what you're trying to say because
no, I mean if you're gonna put me on the spot, you got to give me a second to think about it.
But even that is a good example. Like that, it would take a second.
I'm not instantaneous on everything in my life.
We could take the bailouts, obviously, from the mortgage crisis, right?
Well, let me put it this way.
We all kind of sat there and thought about that.
Here, I'll give you an example. And I know it's not government, but this is me living through what you're talking about. Okay, when I was at SC, when I was going to school there, I had a student working job, and I was working at what they called the Catholic Center, and it was basically the off-site official USC church, and my job was to every week I'd count all the collections that would come for every mass, all the donations and everything, but also to facilitate all of the dinners, the sponsored dinners that were going to be there, because the church was just built, and so they were selling stained glass windows and toilets and like whatever, to get that sponsorship money, to get that donation money, to the point where literally I had checks for $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 in my hand, and it was like dinners that were $10,000 minimums. Right?
Should have came to the east side of Long Beach to the check cashing place. Go ahead.
No. it's a
1% fee.
So I'm handling all this money, and each mass is generating from the students, because they're wealthy kids who are going to go to this church, right? Even though it's right across the street, open to everybody.
This is crazy too. That someone's.
And you're talking genuinely, no bullshit, between $1,500 and $3,000 a mass, and that was on the weekdays. On Sunday, you're talking $5,000. Now there's two kickers to this. That was all the setup. That was my world as my job, right? Two things happened. One, that parish is considered low income, so it would be your Section 8 church. So Los Angeles,
because the Henry Newman
USC's in South Central,
right?
The Henry Newman Center at
South Central
at USC was considered a low income parish.
No, it's called the Caruso's Catholic.
Oh, Caruso's.
Okay, so
it's under that style of. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Now there's one piece of information that I didn't say. The church cost $30 million plus to build, right? And that was all fundraised through the school, and so they didn't have to pay for anything. They didn't have to ask the diocese for any money, but because they were under certain operating incomes, like within a certain thing, they were able to declare, like Trevor said. They were basically like Section 8 housing for churches. So the LA diocese would then, on top of all of the money that they were just making right there, they were getting a handout from the church to keep the lights on, as they would say. So two things happened. One, they tried to play, I can't pay you thing. They literally tried to short me, we don't have money to pay you. And that was the first time where I just genuinely was like, excuse me? And I played the power move of knowing all of this. You're going to tell me you don't have money and it's a school job?
When were you in this position, though?
The school was getting me paid. The church wasn't even paying me. The school was paying me.
They were saying they couldn't pay you.
Yeah, they said they couldn't pay me because I was doing some overtime shit. And they're like, yeah, we don't have the funds to pay you this week. And I was like, no.
You don't want to hear that.
All, it's a school job, so the school is paying you to pay me. And second of all, I'm handling all this money. And you're telling me you don't have operational costs to pay me to work.
But in all fairness, I don't think that you would be super privy to like all their bills, right?
No, I knew
they probably
everything.
own the land.
No, right? I knew all of the bills because I had to work with the accounting too. Because my job, this was just a front office job.
He's like, actually, we're up, and then he names the number.
No, I knew how much how much they were spending on toilet paper.
Yeah.
On how much they were spending on daily food because they would just host lunches for
all this to
so
say
what
that
does this have to do with reparations?
You were questioning their
land. I'll address this. When you were saying like, what do you break down and shit like that, because of that experience and every time since then, when numbers come up, I do start to look at things.
No, that's
like
a good.
I
think we should all look at numbers like that, but. I'm not pointing out with you. I'm just
had a nice job. I went to a Catholic school that rakes in a lot of money each mass, but I was working as a sandwich artist at the Subway there.
I worked for the parish.
Getting back to what we're talking about.
I worked for this parish. Like I was working for the church.
Getting back to
look at you, good Catholic boy.
The priest would fart, and he would like try to play it off like we wouldn't hear it. On multiple, he would just go
in mass.
Just like because it was a front office job.
Oh, okay.
That yeah.
I thought that'd be funny.
I fucking hated it.
Back to what I was saying though. Yeah, I mean, listen, we should all be more diligent with the numbers or try to figure out.
What do you say to people who are against it?
I mean, I honestly, it's so expected to hear that someone's against reparations. I mean, that's not like are there
any valid reasons in your mind
that you would be against reparations? Probably
like valid arguments.
Valid arguments to be against it? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can go down that rabbit hole. But I mean, it's also like, it's the truth is that you're looking at something and you're saying, okay, well, these might be reasons why it's too late or But if you're looking, it's also to know that there's
just want to
there's
be,
data
quote,
that's
unquote, fiscally responsible.
Oh God, it's like I want you to be fiscally responsible.
But
there's new rule like these folks the new college scandal this week. Anybody look at that shit?
But
but you look at that. Let me click in on that. Chicago.
Just Google
all these rich wealthy people were going to the court system, and they were getting their kids. Basically awarded to the state or something where they were considered that the parents were no longer in the household, and so the kids that were getting sent to like $120,000 colleges only had to pay $30,000 a year or $27,000.
So similar to this.
It's a different. So this shit is like it's like, hey, we're gonna talk about this hypothetical world, but if you're of privilege, you don't really participate in that world
because when you're rich, things are cheaper for you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It like
that's not cheaper.
Tax incentives are cheaper for you.
That they're at that point scamming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's more expensive to be poor. You know what I mean?
And then when they looked at it,
in every step of the way, whether you're paying higher interest on loans on things that you know, things that as simple as a car,
it's
or
like the red taping.
If you're paying more
Trump had
penalty fees and things because you're poor.
Trump had some basically like red. What was it? Red taping. I don't remember the word for it, but basically said, hey, I don't want black folks into any of my developments. And, and here he is, President of the United States of America. And that's pretty, he tries to pass a red herring of responsibility onto his dad and say that it was his father. But, but yeah, it's gonna be, people don't want to talk about that because in their mind, they're going to be like, well, people are going to use this money and they're going to blow it on things that you don't think that they should blow it on, right? And I use blow as a presupposition because that's how Americans are going to think.
Yeah,
they're not going to be
kind of unfair to say.
They're not going to be fiscally responsible with
money. I feel like that's
unfair. They being black folks, right? So but that's not like you're also thinking that money too could be a stimulus of the economy.
The conversation.
Because
argument. I've just been asking you questions.
Nobody like when we're talking. I'm not saying that, but if we're talking about you're talking about a lot of people on the right.
Why are you playing this stereotype?
What stereotype is that?
That you assume that people don't want to pay reparations because.
Did you ever see the Dave Chappelle skit on reparations, and the day after reparations? See, you got to pull that up on YouTube.
Oh,
YouTube let us play that.
No,
I mean it doesn't matter.
We just gotta make a point.
It doesn't matter as in.
No, you gotta watch it because it's hilarious. Yeah. No. You can't pull up YouTube.
He can. But we're not screen recording.
We're not screen recording anyway.
Oh God.
So
I
anyways,
believe it was like the next day after reparations, all the black people are rich, and then he
people
buys a baby.
People getting Jordans and new outfits. Yeah. So anybody, but this is another thing that white people because another thing that white people will say they'll be like, oh, that's not what we're talking about. No, that's exactly what you're sort of saying. Fiscal responsibility is coded language for that narrative that exists
in this context, bro.
In this context specifically, people are going to dance around and act like, no, I would never do that. Like, come on, give me. Like, we're all too smart for that shit. That's what you're thinking about. Like, not saying you specifically.
It's like when.
But what if you just don't want to spend money on something?
Man, what? Nobody. It's
like how my budget becomes really important to me.
When your budget.
When you suggest something that I'm not interested in.
Fiscal,
my budget's really important to me, but I also
fiscal responsibility in America only becomes a thing that is where we actually care about how money is being spent. When there's also a parallel of race that's involved. They said the welfare mother, reparations.
It's all incentives. It's not just race.
Nobody says damn, we're spending too much on the military.
We're talking over each other.
There's total. I'm just saying.
Talking over everybody.
Well, my bad. I don't like to.
No, but I'm saying. But what if
lie?
What if the bill? There's a bill like you said. I don't know how much money. Let's say it's $1 trillion. Let's say they do the math, and that's how because of inflation and blah blah blah. Right.
Right.
And in order to get $1 trillion, it's going to come along with a 5% tax increase or 2.5%. I don't know, whatever, but a tax increase. And someone doesn't want to pay money because, like Garrity said, your budget might be really. You can't. What if you're living in LA? You got to move because of
everything.
reparations.
What I was saying was
no. I'm asking. But if that's your reason, why would that be? Why would you, if that's how you believe, how is it fair to be lumped in with a certain amount of people, which you can't put a number on and I can't, because I'm not saying that there aren't people like that, but I'm also not going to agree that it's mostly everybody who's fiscally responsible, quote
because
unquote.
I don't think
when we can't use they're just giving the whole welfare argument for it all the time.
We only use the word fair, and we use it in a very short-sighted like perspective and context. It's like it's not fair to be born black in the United States of America, and your starting line is here, and perhaps somebody's starting line is where the TV is. This is not fair. So but fairness, all of a sudden, this one thing that we can measure in society, which is, household income and household savings and equality and so forth. We can all look at those things and say like, oh, wow, there is no wealth accumulation amongst, black people, right?
But isn't it unfair to put people in boxes?
We're just talking about data. There's no box. I mean, it's unfair to like stereotype somebody.
But is there data on most people believing that it's
generational wealth? That
hold on. Is there data on people who believe that they're being fiscally responsible? And there's correlation between that and believing that they do it because of the welfare.
To be honest with you, fiscal responsibility doesn't even enter the conversation with any other thing, any other facet of government spending, except for welfare, except for education.
But doesn't that
except
dismiss
now for reparations?
Doesn't that dismiss half of the population?
Even
conservatives and economists are usually right wing.
I could jive with the economists, and I could jive with conservatives
I think so.
If they were across the board as disciplined.
When you say right wing, I think that encompasses more than.
But I'm saying
conservative.
If they were, because they say
I didn't
scream
say alt right. I said right.
No, you said right wing,
they
and then
the
you
tenets
said
of fiscal responsibility.
Right wing is the same thing as the right.
Yeah,
but when you say right wing, you're encompassing more things than fiscal conservatism.
But that's fiscal responsibility is a theme of the right wing.
But you're also talking about
not right wing of
the other
rights.
Elements.
Yeah.
Everybody here, I'm going to define it for you, so you know exactly.
Conservatism
what I mean. For me, the right is anywhere from middle right all the way until the very far right. That's the whole party. There's certain fundamental agreements.
What I meant was when you use the two terms
government.
When you use the two terms left and right,
it's not true.
You're talking them more than just
just because
economics. You're talking about all the things that those two sets have values underneath the same umbrella.
And I'm saying, traditionally speaking, when you listen to
they're conservative.
People, or like business people.
And when I say conservative, I'm talking about fiscally conservative.
I'm just saying that there's a huge population of people who I feel like are probably a little bit deeper than just the welfare
for sure, because
argument.
they're also sort of probably looking at, like, you look at the it's another thing too, is you could be part of
wouldn't help you if your goal, I'm not saying it is, because obviously we're talking about Marion, her view right now.
Marion.
But wouldn't it help to know what the other side believes, so it can better inform?
I know, but it's not about a belief here. You're talking about the other side is actually never had to even touch basis with this reality before. It got entered through the consciousness for them to even sit there and debate and Paul or whatever volley it in their minds and talk about it, because it's being pushed by the left, it's being pushed by people of color, right? Like the other side, they never would have. Everything was hunky dory with them.
You're saying it as if people haven't been changing and things aren't getting better.
I know, but if I'm looking at, for example, World War II, the GI Bill being and the New Deal being something that is very much touted as this big piece of policy that was put forward by FDR that created wealth, particularly like the middle class, and was booming of industries and would come in the 1950s. But if you look into it specifically, our servicemen of color were alienated. They weren't given loans to go out there and get they were
given the worst jobs in
They weren't given loans to go out there and get houses. So if you're wondering, well, that was then. Well, no. Just like when your parents died, they could have inherited a piece of property. If your parents die, you can inherit a piece of property. That's how you see the accumulation of wealth ripple down generations. So,
I understand everything you just said. But my question to you is, why is it the government's right to demand that? And if you're a citizen of the government,
because they dropped the ball then, and now they have to pay.
Why is it why is it wrong? Like, why do they have? I mean, that's what democracy is, right?
Yeah, but
you need both sides. You need the yin and the yang.
Ask that question. Ask that question again. Ask that question. I think we should move on.
Oh no, I like it here, Garrity.
Because we're going in circles now.
Who cares?
Ask that again, and then you can answer what you thought.
No,
I just don't understand why everything you just said has to do with.
You're saying why does the government have to pay, right?
No, that's what I just said. But the reason why you said everything you just said, I don't actually, because the original point of this whole thing is why does what you just said, like everything you just said right now, right? You explained like why you believe the reparation should exist. What I'm asking you is, how come it's bad to look at the other side, to go beyond just that little surface level
The other side isn't looked at this side before. They completely were okay in living in this blissful existence of not ever looking at this reality of wealth distribution, particularly with African Americans.
You keep saying that, but you're the one who seems to be more against it.
What people on the left what Republican has ever said? Hey, we really should talk about rectifying some sort of public policy. Maybe reparations isn't the way that we want to go about it.
So how do you convince people on
putting
the
policy
right to do reparations?
Putting policy back in positions.
How would you?
I'm sorry. Enacting policy that would mirror things that Franklin, Delano Roosevelt did that could help people of color. No, they weren't doing that. Right?
How would you
welfare mothers.
How would you appeal to the people on the right?
Listen, you can't,
because you need both sides to get reparations approved without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't, and like I said, I don't think that you asked me. Do you think reparations? Should we be having a conversation about reparations? Yes. If you didn't ask me, Trevor, do you think it's going to get passed? No, it's not going to get passed.
No, but what I'm saying, what would you want to say to someone on the right who says no?
It's like,
would you want to just come at them and say you should know better, bitch?
No, because
that's basically what you said, minus the word bitch.
I mean, more or less, at some point,
like you gave a history lesson, and that should just automatically convince them.
No, it shouldn't, because people have such an inherent bias that is a reflection of norms that have been propagated and pushed by the American consciousness. How do you overcome
the bias if you don't actually know what the bias is?
You can't. That would like we're getting back to old self-reflection. And a lot of folks don't. It's like you have a disproportionate amount of America that doesn't see how the Confederate flag might be an anchor or trigger for feelings of systemic racism and generational oppression and really bad things like strange fruit hanging from trees and black bodies hanging from trees.
The Confederate flag is also what makes America America.
How that doesn't make America.
Wait.
I wanted to jump in. No, I wanted to jump in though. Say
it's a piece.
It's the freedom to throw up that flag. That is what is America to me, and that's what I mean by that.
Oh no!
You start taking away.
No, I think that if you live on a property in the South and you want to have the Confederate flag in your front yard, man, you should do that. I don't believe that.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like you can.
It was whack though when I was in northern Indiana and I saw a fool had a Confederate flag. Well, not a full.
Yeah.
Had a Confederate flag, and I was like, "You can't get any more north than this. Yeah. Tell me this is about state."
But my thing is that is America.
But it wasn't at all what he would have said it was.
No,
Daniel, celebrating history. He was celebrating racism. Is what he was doing.
Well, I don't think that. Listen.
Outkast to do that, and that makes you.
Outkast had a video.
Me.
And he's got, and Andre 3000 has got. This is why you got to get the damn. Anyways, but he's got the Confederate flag on him. So Ludacris used to put the Confederate flag. Right. It's not like the symbol of the South is only going to be for white folks in the South. You have who's David Banner, who's actually kind of like a liberal Democrat now, who's very forward. He's on Bill Maher.
Yep.
I want to say that he had the Confederate flag behind him.
And then there's
a symbol.
There's rock bands too, like Leonard Skinner.
So I mean,
Dukes
it's not
Hazzard,
like, but I think
not
that
a band, but Pantera, Dimebag Darrell, the guitarist, he'd have
when you start looking into it, and the first time I remember the Confederate flag is on the general lead. You guys probably don't remember this, but the original Dukes of Hazzard as a kid.
Dukes. You just said, but you weren't listening.
So. I was trying to think. I was like, what is the name of that show?
I thought you were about to name drop.
I already said it.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to name drop. You probably don't remember. General Lee was before your time.
So,
hey, dude. I wanted to talk about. Did you hear who Tyson Fury is fighting next? The new opponent announced.
No,
let's get a drum roll. Let's get a drum roll.
But I will say this about Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury's next opponent is unbeaten Swedish heavyweight Otto Wallin.
Okay. So this is what I would say about this. He fought Deontay Wilder, and he fought Anthony Joshua.
Who's Otto Wallin?
Give him a break. He can fight basically a body. That's okay. He deserves that.
Twice in a row?
Yeah, sure. Who else does he need to? He only needs to fight 3 people right now that matter, right? He's gonna fight Deontay probably in a rematch, right? Fighting Andy Ruiz, who's not gonna happen until he gets his business with Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua isn't gonna face him until he obviously gets his business with Andy Ruiz. So it's like who? Okay, so he doesn't fight. He fights this. He fights the Swedish dude. Who's he supposed to go? Oh God, don't go to the damn boxing numbers. He's gonna fight Brian Jennings or something, like Chris Arreola. I mean, like, come on.
Actually, I'd rather see Chris Arreola. I mean,
yeah, I would too because Chris Arreola is from Southern California, but Tyson Fury will put on Chris Arreola. So
he would, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
but it would be a name.
Yeah, just because. I mean, but like,
I'm just saying they could find a name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Boxing people,
because they're gonna try to promote the shit out of this on ESPN.
And who cares? Let people check. You know what?
Might as well.
You know what's a good?
Put him against one of the British guys. That there's always, even though
they all keep testing positive.
Even though Dillian White just got positive, I'm sure that Chisora will fight. There's a bunch. There's plenty of British guys waiting in the.
There's a fighter from Legends Boxing Club that I guess Manny and Edgar trained, and they said that he was scheduled to fight. I don't know his name, but he was scheduled to fight a Colombian in Vegas on Friday. The guy tested HIV positive.
I'm glad they're still testing for that. That's not someone you want to share a headbutt with.
I'm like, what?
Exchanging blood, trading paint with.
When I heard that shit, I was like, whoa.
Damn, that stinks.
Yeah, I was like, man, slip that one.
That's yeah.
Roll with the punches. And then, but the guy sacrificed the whole camp. Obviously had to make weight, get some shape.
Well, he's lucky he didn't.
Right. I wish it was
one of the cut.
Yeah, but man, I was like, damn. So
that's a tough way to find out too.
You know what's crazy? No one's gonna bring this up, but like when you hear a Colombian, like you're gonna think about the things, so because it's like the party place,
right?
Yeah. So
like when you said Colombian, it made sense.
Yeah.
Like
Swedish.
I feel like Brazil and Colombia are known for being kind of wild places.
The closer you get to the equator, the looser
the hotter it gets.
The looser the moral compass gets.
Right.
No, that's a joke. So.
Well, yeah. Maybe we should do a study on that.
Yeah. Okay. Daniel, how are we?
How do you quantify that?
Yeah. Actually, they had a study. This is about like who has the most sex in the world, and I think it was Brazil.
I believe that.
Yeah, you should look it up. And the United States is Louisiana, which makes complete sense if you've been to Louisiana.
Because of the party element.
Not just that, but people seem like a little bit slower than everybody else. Like that, they wouldn't like be able to control their primal shit. That they would just act with no consequences. So, yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. Tyson Fury.
That's a stretch, but
I can't. No.
You think that people are more primal in Louisiana and they can't control their urges?
Well, no, I said that's it.
I was agreeing with you that perhaps it's one of the bigger party states. I know
this has to do with
people from Texas drive there just to go drink.
What is it that I'm applying
at 18
here?
Or whatever?
Okay, what is it?
But you're like, no, these people have fewer brain cells and they can't control who they want.
Trevor's right.
Yeah.
Except I don't know what his argument was about to you right now because I know it wasn't. It's not what it is.
But yeah.
But it has to do with the church.
Yeah. Does it really?
The church, the people in the South, yeah, they're Christian over there, so they don't like birth control is God, is abstinence.
Yeah, but no, they have more sexual partners.
I know, but my point is, we went to Catholic school. Other than you, most of the Catholic boys, as soon as they're like the worst kids in town.
Oh.
I'm getting uncomfortable here.
I don't know. That should be a lesson. You know what's always funny is like
too.
is
I'm in that group too. I went to public school.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it.
Go from Holy Trinity to all of a sudden going to public.
But I know that the people in Louisiana are having sex more than any other state in the country.
That's because once you have restrictions on people, what do they want to do? The exact opposite.
I just thought it's because it's hotter than hell there. It's humid.
It's hotter than hell.
The Mardi Gras. And people seem real slow and bored, and there's nothing else.
Well, that's the part where I have to stop you because the hotter than hell thing makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, whatever more.
But if you're in one of these spots,
hit the sack with let's
I like how that's acceptable.
But you're saying
I said is not.
But you're no.
I'm saying there's nothing.
No, but where you're saying
that
they have like they're slower people. I don't know.
You have never looked at states by IQ,
dude. I don't.
Oh shit. I get bored. I know.
No, but I'm saying if you don't have sexual education,
I hear what you're saying.
You tend to procreate more, right? Yeah. And that offspring.
So we could probably prove this right now if you're right, is to find out if Louisiana leads the country or is one of the top 5 in teenage pregnancy rates. I think it is.
Stop talking shit about Louisiana. We have a good listener base in Louisiana. I don't want to lose them here.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying if you produce more kids and you can't afford them because where you're living is not, you just can't. At a certain point, you're gonna produce generation upon generations, and you're not gonna be able to educate them all. So they're just gonna think fucking is like.
Louisiana comes in 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like Mexicans, bro.
Louisiana comes in number 6 for highest rates of teenage pregnancy.
It's not bad for.
Bro, women Andy Ruiz was on Rogan.
Wait, can we talk about the other?
No, we're actually talking about
this.
No,
this is funny.
Andy Ruiz is on Rogan, and he goes, "Yeah, man." He's like, "So you're living life?" He's like, "Yeah, man, but I got 5 kids, so I'm kind of gonna spend on them." He goes, 5 kids? You're 29.
Right,
5 kids? You guys started early."
Right.
He goes, "Yeah, Mexican style."
Yeah.
That's a good interview. If anyone who hasn't listened to it yet, Joe Rogan interviewed champion Andy Ruiz like last week in his previous content.
Let's get back to guess the states.
Who can
guess the states the lowest IQ? Because Trevor cares so much about IQ.
Guess the states about the highest teenage.
Gary, finish your point first.
Go for it.
The point is that
we were talking about.
Finish your sentence.
Go ahead.
You can't let him bitch you like that. He just straight.
Well, basically, you were talking about how Mexicans do that thing that procreate a ton early and often and prolonged for a long time. I just thought it was funny because Joe Rogan and Andy Ruiz were throwing a little shade to that same idea, and it was funny.
No, not idea. It's a truth for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a truth.
Hey, you don't got any kids yet? Oh, that's good.
And what does it have to do with religion? I'm serious.
So we can prove if
Mexicans
you're right right now.
are religious as fuck. Yes,
yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And what does the Catholic Church teach?
But all these states don't have the Catholic Church involved. I'd say only probably one or two.
Louisiana is Catholic,
but we got to go over that.
But even if it's not Catholic,
the other states with the highest rates of pregnancy among.
All right, go ahead and read your stats because you think it's beneficial.
Nah, you guys got to guess. You guys can already guess.
Alabama.
I already put him in the South.
Alabama's not in 1. No, New Mexico is number 1.
I don't know much about
Mexican.
Newer ones. Newer Mexicans.
Arkansas,
makes sense. Procreation. New Mexicans keep on coming.
Arkansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana.
Oh, okay, that was super interesting.
No, you don't make it interesting because you're not thinking enough about it. You're like, that's just like these are all places with like high Christian values.
To you.
High Christian values,
so
places where the church are involved. Also places where like there's not a lot to do.
I'm translating.
What are you gonna do in New Mexico besides
Raid Area 51?
Yeah.
Is that New Mexico?
Fucking not die from it's Nevada.
Ah, darn it.
But
they got a lot of alien shit there.
There's probably something in New Mexico because they did. I think
they did a bunch of test things there back in the day. Yeah.
Because there's nothing else there.
There's nothing else there.
The only thing that's happened there.
It looks beautiful, but like just in
Breaking
pictures.
Bad is the biggest thing.
You been in New Mexico
before?
Before?
No, never have.
I've been to Albuquerque.
I saw Anthony Bourdain did something there.
It's beautiful, dude.
And that episode made it look awesome, but
it is. It's just really, really hot.
Yeah.
It's also like,
but it seemed like
it's America's Mexico.
You can go like being a Southern California native. You can go like a year, I feel like, or a couple years, and unless you go to Pachanga, not see any Native Americans. Like, but when you're in New Mexico,
you'll see them.
You see them everywhere. It's like
even in Arizona.
Just
you know
in
what?
That
part of the country.
Yeah.
Because when I went to a Slayer concert and I drove all the way out to Phoenix from here straight to the concert and I fucking made it, but there was no Mexicans. I was expecting Mexicans to be there. All brown people.
But that
think about it though. Think about it. Our natives are Mexicans.
Yeah.
Right.
In this part, the Californios.
That's a good point.
The what do you call them? What was the?
Oh man, it's so funny.
I'm saying what you're saying.
The name of the tribe from around here were Mexican.
Is it Kach? No.
Well, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Gabrielinos.
But the brown people there
or Californios.
The brown people there were natives.
Right.
And so I went to the Slayer concert with a bunch of Native Americans. Like the whole place was full of Native. It was fucking
I bet you
fit in though.
I bet you.
I know.
I bet you Native Americans make for good metalheads because the whole long hair thing's vibing, that whole ponytail thing.
It was very cool.
That's how you know. Cool. That's how you know that genocide was a motherfucker though, because you can't go into Denny's and you just won't see like a random family of 5 Native Americans,
right?
Just like ordering. Or
I have no idea what you said.
I'm talking about like literally when you think about Native American genocide, I can go years and years and years. I'm just not gonna like walk in and actually see a Native American family at Starbucks. That's just not gonna happen.
Right.
So unless I'm in New Mexico, Arizona, or
that's why they deserve the most reparations.
But
it's true.
I said in some sense
majority,
they did get reparations. They did get land. They do
not enough.
No, but it's not.
Well, they did a hell of a job about wiping them out.
Yeah,
I know. That's why they deserve more. They deserve more attention. They deserve more government oversight and protections.
But if we're looking at this,
they annex
and
them, but they don't get involved.
So just because we like to pass, to pass a red herring, particularly with democracy. So I'm going to play like you, devil's advocate. So when do we define this? Because if we're looking at
define what?
We're looking at Native American genocide. It happening from the beginning, its inception in 1492 when Columbus came here. The United States of America doesn't become a country until 1776. So we'd have to look at the data of how many Native Americans died since Columbus got here in 1776, which I know was a huge, just huge number, not just in North America, but in all the Americas. So we're gonna put them all to the side, and then I'm gonna be like you and say, well, how do we know how many Native Americans were in the country at 1776, and who was in the country? And these are going to be the people that are only going to be the beneficiaries of a policy. No, I'm saying this is how, like, if I'm playing devil's advocate, what I would hear from the other side, because the truth is we're not even looking at
I've never heard this argument once in my life.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm mirroring the sort of the way
that
people reflect.
But I'm saying
the people reflect on reparations for black folks.
I've talked about this with other people. I've just never heard that perspective.
That's something that people won't even look at. Like, hey, no one's going to say from 1492 to 1776 that the majority
of. Let's have a conversation.
I want to go to a reservation.
The majority of
I think that's an experience we all should have.
The majority of indigenous folks that died in the New World died between 1492 and 1776. That's true.
That's probably true.
Let's go with that then.
And it was like hundreds.
So the idea is we only need to accept what happened when we became a country, and everything else before that, unfortunately, as bad as it may be, we have to wipe our hands clean as a nation. And if
I'm not. Of course, I feel empathetic and sympathetic for Native Americans.
We're playing devil's advocate.
But no, absolutely. I do think that's something that we should look at when we're looking at to correct these things is when the country was founded. That is absolutely relevant. I mean, you talk about,
So we're not going to
talk about Louisiana Purchase and California.
Following that logic, then, when is the cutoff for slaves to be a part of your? Because like reparations, what happened in Africa? If it wasn't Americans, then it doesn't count. Then, right?
What do you mean? What happened in Africa?
Like if English people took slaves or Spanish people took slaves, or if America wasn't America, then we can't be responsible for those years. Correct?
We're not looking to. We're not discussing their systemic.
Are you asking? We're not going to take responsibility for everything that the Spanish and the French did on this land before, quote unquote, America did. So when does America begin?
I think no. If we're following the devil's advocate argument, that
when does America begin?
What 1776?
Which
right?
this
are you talking about? We're talking about the United States of America, the America that we refer to. Yeah. That's the America that matters, the USA.
And they're the
Nobody talks about America in some big broad generation that says America owes. No, the America that we're talking about is USA of America. We're not talking about Central America. We're not talking about Nicaragua, Guatemala, Honduras. We're not talking about South America.
I was talking about this.
Wait. We gotta stay on topic here because I think this is important. So what you're saying? So what I'm saying is counter to the devil's advocate argument, the original one, right? Do you remember what it was?
Trevor's like, I'm from the South. Okay, I've been to Costa Rica before any of you guys went there. I was the first blogger to go to Costa Rica before it became all hipster.
Wanderlust.
Wanderlust.blogspot.com.
Metal
first
canteen.
guy to make that surf spot.
I bought 20 stickers. Pure Vida. Put Vida stickers.
I totally helped the economy buying all those. Yeah.
I had an Imperial Cerveza t-shirt before Pura Vida before you guys ever had one. Okay, go ahead.
Fool, you don't even know.
I don't.
Buena Vida. It's very hard to draw the line because wherever you draw the line, you're gonna miss some deserving people. The descendants of some deserving people.
I understand, but like
right?
Okay.
No. I'm not thinking we're gonna solve this tonight.
No, I'm saying.
But I'm just trying to make sense of what Daniel's trying to say.
I also think that natives. It's interesting to say. I also just think natives get dismissed. That's actually my bigger point.
Of course they do. Natives get dismissed because right away they're out of consciousness because you can't.
Because they're almost all gone.
I know, but I'm saying
that's the reality of it.
And if I'm looking at Kaepernick take a knee and he's talking about his, the plight of his people, right? Talking about the plight of black people in America, yeah. Or if I'm seeing Kanye and I'm thinking like, well, Kanye made it, and here he is with Trump, and I'm on the right, and I'm a Republican. Like, but the thing out of sight, out of mind. The truth is, like, I can't even name a Native American actor. Anyone? Native American musical act.
There was a guy who was interviewed by.
I mean, I know. I gotta
look him up.
I don't,
dude. No, I know. We
should reconnect. Yeah. Actually, I mean, we talk about a lot of, society. Race seems to come up a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, okay. This is definitely
it's great.
Conversation
it's good to have
not
conversation
today, but I'm saying
to have. But let's revisit this theme on how Native Americans end up not being part of this conversation enough. And perhaps we should do an episode where we go into that a little deeper. I want to have an episode where we interview Virgil Hill.
Yeah.
We were talking to Virgil Hill at an event once, and
Virgil's is Native American and black, is that, or Native American and Puerto Rican?
I don't know, but he's Native American and something. But
he'd be the perfect person. I don't know if he'd want to talk about it because. A lot of Native Americans get fed that question because there's so few of them. It's like they get fed the same exact questions all the time. He's probably answered and had the conversation.
To be real,
it'd be interesting to have the perspective from a Native American rather than us.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, but like we all know,
being hypothesizing.
What Native American?
I would like to hear
the out there that's like, America. You guys have done a hell of a job at fixing all this shit that happened in the past. Like, that's not something.
No. All I would think is be interesting to invite a Native American onto this podcast.
I don't know what. Yeah, what is that?
No. I think that, but I'm saying a lot of times, like, I'll hear people say, like, "Oh, I'd like to talk to this person." And it's like, no, of course. But if let's just say that.
We actually have Virgil Hill's phone number, and he was thinking about coming on the podcast, and we had a great conversation with him. So
but I'm saying,
why not have a boxing legend who can speak to the topic of what it's like
a three-time world champion? But I'm just saying,
what's it like to be a boxer?
What it's like to be a Native American in America? What's it like to be? Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as a whole, when we hear people
as a boxer too, because that's not a sport.
Who the fuck do you look up to?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you have people to look up to in the boxing world. But who knows? Maybe there are boxers that we don't fucking know about.
He's got a camp of kids that he's training, right? He's got
but I'm just saying, as people, we do this shit like ASAP Rocky at the moment where I think he defends himself, but he punches somebody. And
I don't know. All I know is Trump saved him and got him back.
I don't know.
Anyways,
Sweden?
But the point is, ASAP Rocky had tweeted about Black Lives.
I didn't even know who that was.
About Black Lives Matter.
Uh-huh.
That basically he doesn't have to care about Black Lives Matter in his life. ASAP Rocky did that, and now he was basically, I'm not going to say that exclusively that he's being a victim of being, kept there locked up because he's black, but it sort of looked that way. But I think a lot of folks like here, if they go, they'll say they'll have people of color, and the assumption is that you might get a specific answer that jives with your rhetoric. And then if they don't give you that answer, then all of a sudden there's a bunch of people on the right that are saying, look, A$AP Rocky said that Black lives doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, the right loves to find a representative that they can be like, this guy endorses what we're saying.
My problem is that there's a general truth.
But I don't know enough about A$AP Rocky to go on this. I know that they did that for Kanye, but I don't know enough about A$AP Rocky. But all I know is he was in jail in Sweden, and Trump Trump made a few phone calls and got him out, and he tweeted, it's been a rocky week for A$AP Rocky. Get home ASAP. Yeah. It was really just comedic gold.
Hold on, I got his comments because I think they're.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
No, I just I'm not. Somebody else had.
I got this tweet up from Ryan Garcia right here.
Ryan Garcia is just boring.
So Ryan Garcia earlier today. So we're this is August 3rd, and I was just looking up things to talk about before this episode, and earlier today he went on a little bit of a tweet storm. But anyway, he says, to all my fans, yes, I was supposed to fight Romero Duno in September. I decided not to go with that because I wanted to fight him as a main event in November and not on some co-main event on a card that will be driven by me. I also elected to fight the guy that gave Duno problems for September. Bottom line is, I deserve the right promotion for fights with the full time to promote and not to be thrown into a fight where we have myself do the whole promotion. Knowing my fan base, they will tune in no matter what, but I deserve to have the full promotion fight with Duno. Yeah. So this kid's you think he's at the point where he can complain and call the shots like this yet?
Well, okay, so I heard through the grapevine, I don't know too much about it, but I heard through the grapevine that Ryan Garcia had signed with two different managers. And that a lot of people were not happy with him on his promotional side, and that he was actually being sued. Do I think that he's too big to call the shots on this, or too small to call the shots on this? No, I mean he puts asses in the seats, shit. But he does business. So
and there's kind of a.
He's gonna be the A side.
To your point,
I don't even know who Romero Duno is. So
to your point though, it's kind of funny.
And
the
Logan
sequence
Paul.
is the day before him and Logan Paul were talking about how he wants to be in his walk-in. So
see there, bro, I got something special for the ring walk.
Yeah, so they'll be doing stuff together.
Something that I
co-signed by Fashion Nova.
So as an outsider, because I'm not into the boxing world as much as you two are, but when I look at this, I look at it as, yes, he has the social media clout. Yes, he does bring the money in, but he's young. Yeah. And something about older people.
Please don't upset your promoter.
They don't like younger people acting young.
Yeah, but boxing people probably on Twitter.
They're stubborn, though, is my point.
But do you want to upset your boss who's been very good to you this whole time?
No. Business.
Does he want to bitch his promoter?
But closed doors.
Right. All attention is good attention. I mean, shit, especially with a star like this.
But it looks like he pulled out of a fight. I'm sure Golden Boy's not too happy that he pulled out of the September fight.
Well, but what about the argument that he's so young that it could actually be damaging because you don't bite the hand that feeds? Yeah. Because he's big, but he's not the biggest.
Yeah, I don't.
He isn't of course. Floyd, where he can say "fuck you, Showtime." Yeah. For whatever, if they want to call him on shit, he just say, "Go fuck yourself, Showtime. I'll do whatever I want."
He said that to HBO. They ended up with Showtime. Floyd did. Showtime, CBS.
Right.
But no,
Brian Garcia can't do that. He can't. No. Who's he with?
Golden Boy.
He can't say "fuck you, Golden Boy." I'm not fighting for you until this, and this.
Golden Boy's been great to him.
I'm gonna actually say
that's why I agree with you. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
I'm gonna actually say that he kind of can. I mean, who else does Golden Boy have besides Canelo and him? That's a star that has the potential to be as big as Canelo.
And for those who don't know,
Can you think of anybody?
But for those who don't know,
Virgil Ortiz.
No, God.
What exactly?
I'm so over the Virgil Ortiz bandwagon. The guy punches hard. He hasn't shown me anything else. Do you guys really think he's at 140?
You're more impressed. You're more impressed with Ryan Garcia than Virgil Ortiz. I'm surprised to hear that.
We're talking about business wise, about who can make the most money.
Yeah, he's a pretty boy. He's got more star power.
He's a star. Virgil Ortiz.
He's great. He's great. I'm not trying to discount him.
And nothing.
But I'm just surprised that you were discounting Virgil.
I'm not sold on Virgil Ortiz's skills like that. Like he's at 140. So we got Regis Proje at 140, right? Gosh, who else do we have at 140?
But it's whoever's in that, because Regis is in that World Series right now with what do they call that tournament on
but it's one of the softer divisions right now. 140 is.
Yeah.
That's his key.
Well, after Bud Crawford left it alone, it becomes
Bud was gone. Yeah, big vacuum.
Yeah.
So there's somebody. The kid that I like from the UK.
Taylor.
Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly at 140.
Well, while Garrity looks at it, my question is what he's asking for that big of a deal? Because what he's asking for is better promotion. He doesn't want to be the only source of promotion, and so he's kind of making us. It's not like he didn't get paid any less. It's not.
He like
what's his. It seems like he's causing a ruckus.
Josh Taylor.
Because the thing is, I doubt Golden Boy spent $0 on promotion for the fight.
I didn't hear about this fight in September. Did you?
No, this looks like he's putting dirty laundry on Twitter of something that just happened behind closed doors.
He's also a young dude, and
but it's not a big deal. It's
Trevor, real talk. Oscar De La Hoya tops everybody with dirty laundry.
Ryan
Garcia, this ain't shit until you're in fishnets doing cocaine.
No, I get it. So that's what I'm asking. So do you think Golden Boy here, allegedly, this is all alleged, we don't know. Do you think Golden Boy here spent no money on promotion? He did everything?
No.
I mean,
I'm feeling like he's being a brat.
Yeah. No, but like, remember the numbers that came out? It was like Canelo was like 98% or 99% of Golden Boy's revenues.
So I heard that from you, but that leaves Ryan Garcia in that.
So Ryan
1% of that other
remaining percent in a position too. You got
But how much money does Canelo make Golden Boy? 98%.
Yeah,
of it.
He does most of the business. Yeah.
Ryan Garcia's got to look at other guys like Devin Haney and think about his position, and think about maybe I would have been better if I would have went over to Al Heyman.
I'm just saying sometimes social media is good, but sometimes social media can bite you in the ass when you're dealing with that old style. Because boxing's old school.
No,
you guys talk about it all the time.
But there hasn't changed. Usually the guys the people that
you don't want to.
But the people that tend
insult all people above you.
But the people
over dumb little shit.
Why they've been fucking over the fighters for years. I hope this guy gets as much leverage as he can and leverages them to death the way that the people on the top leverage.
Is what I'm asking, because this is about money.
Ryan Garcia has such a star.
This is about him not wanting to co-promote a show
and such a promotion. Such a.
But he's so fucking
a chance
big.
to promote himself.
He's being a brat, really.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even say like it's affecting my training. He just said like he didn't say any of that.
Well, I mean,
he didn't talk about training. Like if he said, "Look, I can't do both."
If you're Ryan, how do you not compare yourself to Devin Haney right now? Because you guys are fighting each other in the amateurs. You're looking at what Devin's getting done, and you're looking at what you're getting done.
Trying not to think about Devin Haney right now.
Right, but it's because he definitely doesn't want to face Devin Haney in a match. Yeah. We'll start there. But if you just look at the trajectory of success, one of them is a star because of social media platforms, Ryan Garcia. Another one's a star because of emerging craft and has a good social media presence, but not nearly as competitive as Ryan Garcia.
But also, Devin Haney is exploding a little bit more in the traditional route, where the promoters see we have a winner, let's let our winners run, let's pump money into the winner and double down. So I mean, and they're keeping him active, and
But I'm saying when you're looking at Ryan, like, hey, look, to answer Daniel's question, I think that Ryan Garcia, we should get used to a lot of young men out there that are going to be coming up the rankings, and guess what? They're going to be calling more and more shots, and they have the platforms to do so, and it's not going to be the certain situations where you hear fighters were not being given fights. I mean, you hear some of the things that Bob Arum had been doing to fighters back in the past, some things that Don King had been doing to fighters back in the past. It's like, man, I don't have if you're asking me to be empathetic and sympathetic towards promoters,
there's so much of that I want to go deeper into. I want to go deeper into the fight between Bob Arum / Top Rank and Mikey Garcia, because that essentially put him out of business for it put Mikey into retirement because he was so desperate to get out of that. But I haven't done the time to really go into.
I can tell you what the typical thing to do.
Give me the spark notes on that.
And not going into his situation because I'm not privy to the specifics, but let you know the typical thing is if I'm Top Rank, I sign you to a 5-fight deal. Yeah. I give you 3 really easy looks. I come to you around the 4th fight. I say, hey, I want to sign you for another 5 fights. If you say you don't want to go with me, I have my matchmaker find someone that you can lose to, a killer, around the 4th or 5th. And then I'm offering you very little money. This has been the practice of promoters for years. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney comes to mind. The original guy that turned this world upside down, Floyd Mayweather. I'm glad these guys are going out there getting more of what they're worth. And also, if you're a young guy today, all you young guys take a note. You can't have a voice in the sport if you go about it the right way. If you know how to get out there and be heard. Even what's the guy? Rolly. Rolly's even a guy. There's no way you ever hearing Rolly on social media, on YouTube platforms and so forth. But in today's boxing climate, we can hear what Rolly has to say. We can hear what a lot of prospects have to say. It's a good thing.
Rolly's with Mayweather, right?
Yeah, he's with TMT. Yeah. But I'm not completely sold on Rolly at all. Although he did give Ryan Garcia that work in sparring, but Ryan wasn't with the Red.
Well, you're ready to give him a look, though. You're ready to take a look at him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been watching Rolly a little
bit.
He's
with TMT, so I mean, let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they're judging for good talent.
Gervonta is the only guy from TMT that I'm high on. I was high on Mickey Bay before he cut the last Molina in the 12th, which was like something out of Rocky. It was the 11th or 12th, a hell of a fight. Who else is TMT put in front of you that you could think of that you respect like that?
I haven't. Gervonta.
Yeah, just Gervonta, right? Yeah. And Gervonta. By the way,
Gervonta versus Devin Haney. What do you think?
I think they should keep Devin away from Gervonta. Yeah, and that's to say,
but somewhat.
The question:
these guys are both young. Somewhere along the line,
they're pretty close.
These guys' careers will converge. Gervonta's growing. He's not going to stay at 130 forever.
Devin Haney's frame is a guy that can get in a lot of different divisions, right?
You can go all the way up to welter, probably.
Yeah, I think so. You definitely go to welter. He might even. You don't know. He's a built kid. I mean, he's got a great frame for this. But Gervonta Davis as an athlete, as being explosive, as being a fighter. How do I not? And he's only 5'5.5". How do I not say like?
Oh, he's that short.
Yeah, but watching him fight again, watching his last fight. How do I not walk away and say, man, what if this guy could be someone like Manny Pacquiao and do some incredible shit at that height? And I don't know, because man, Gervonta's an exciting fighter.
But I think he does make his way up to 135.
So, for sure. The question is, does he make it up to 40 and 47?
No, I mean
Gervonta Jimmy
5'5", but
Gervonta is going to be a champion at 135. That's a done deal.
But what you're saying is that
could
Devin Haney away from him in those years where they're both at 135.
But
and then
to look at where Gervonta could go, looking at Gervonta in the future, here's a naturally big kid who's powerful. He's hitting people, and it's like they're getting hit with a shotgun, right? Now you're thinking about him versus Regis Proje. Oh no, I like Gervonta for that fight, right? You're thinking about him against Taylor. This is a guy that I think
gotta look more into.
Yeah, see more tape I think that Gervonta can go up a couple different weight divisions, and I want him to. I really think that he is something different than the rest of those kids. I think that they should even keep Devin away from him right now. Devin doesn't have enough pop. Gervonta was incredible his last fight. So, and same thing with Lomachenko, man. They should probably keep Loma away from Gervonta too. Get that out there. And I expect Gervonta to stop Tevin Farmer. So, I mean, man, he's definitely.
Yeah.
I love Tevin Farmer.
I'm gonna be rooting for Tevin Farmer in that fight, but
yeah, I like Gervonta.
Gervonta's scary.
So yeah, man, scary dude, bad intentions.
Yeah,
sharp too.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for the next several years we can keep seeing Gervonta as active as possible, because Something special. I think I think he's really gonna be. He's gonna be the face of boxing.
There was something that came out with some number that he is the new. They think that he's the new face of pay-per-view boxing. So
right, it would make sense.
It was like a Forbes article. So because that many people,
when Forbes dips their toe into the world of boxing, it's gonna be some grade A content.
It's gonna be some grade A content. Forbes. So, anyways.
Although I quoted a Forbes article once.
Well, Ryan Garcia, I think he's a star, so he gets a pass. Now, but if this is Rolly doing this on his Twitter, come on, brother.
Does Rolly have a blue check mark?
I don't know. Yeah,
probably. I wouldn't even know where to look him up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I'm just gonna look up Rolando. Any other topics you want to go over for this episode? You guys keep an eye on the Boxed In podcast handle on Instagram. You're gonna see the weigh-in. You'll see the photographic evidence of us doing the weigh-in.
Side by side.
But also tune in for whatever podcast comes after this podcast.
No shirt.
You're gonna see it's gonna be straight up,
like in the sun.
Straight up milk duds, dude. It's gonna be
milk duds.
I gotta get in the sun a few more times.
Like we're a fight way.
Like we're a fight, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going all in, dude. That the best way to keep yourself accountable is to
you're my accountability partner.
Accountability partners. No, put money on the line and then have everyone.
I don't know about the money. I don't think it should be money.
Everything is money.
If you want to do money,
Monopoly money.
If you're willing to do money,
Costa Rican colones.
How much are you willing to do money? You both have to be willing. It can't be
I don't want to do money.
Yeah,
money
that's
is
what I
like
thought.
God. It's like fucking.
Because it should be serious, but
I'm trying to win
you
money.
sound like the Wolf on Wall Street. I'm
trying to win some money.
Look at his fingers.
Yeah,
everything is. Did you see this? The finger flex. He's just like the first time. Is like everything is in the fingers. The dominance.
All right, okay. So next episode, you'll see the weigh-in. You'll also be seeing.
We're not going to talk about any clips.
Oh, I thought you wanted to do that after. No.
You can't play it at the same time right now?
That's not going to be conducive for the podcast, though, because people are listening to this on iTunes. And I think
you people have to get into touch with this thing on YouTube.
For everyone listening
so
to this podcast,
that we can evolve the show. Evolve yourself.
Everyone listening to this podcast on iTunes and Spotify. Next step for you is to go to the YouTube
FM radio,
the YouTube channel Boxing TLDR. Hit subscribe, and you'll see all the video content there. We're gonna be doing some more things there.
String and cup.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Boxing In Podcast. We'll see you guys next week with our shirts off.
All right.